Hey, Reggie, when's the next episode? When's the next episode of your podcast? When are you going to do it? Have you stopped doing it? Are you still doing it? It's Euros. It's Copa America. We need your opinion. Okay.
Girardino, dentro Del Piero, no! Alex Del Piero,
Welcome to another episode of the Futbol Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Reginald Dino. Futbol Weekly. I say weekly. It looks like it's every 4 months I do a show. Enjoying the summer. Took a break because there was nothing going on until Euro started, and the juggling between watching the games and working and doing all the other extracurricular activities that we do here in Ontario just got in the way. But you know what? I decided, I have a couple of hours right now. We have a game tonight. So I got to leave here in about 2 hours. So I said, you know what? I got a little bit of time to kill. Let me do a recap of Copa and the Euro tournaments that just finished. Both just finished yesterday with the finals happening. Euro finals happening at 3 p.m. Eastern time here, and the finals of the Copa America supposed to start at 8 p.m. but didn't start till 8:45. We'll get into that as well. A buddy of mine just sent me a picture of Phil Foden. They're calling him 007 because he has 0 goals, 0 assists in 7 games. Best player in England, best player in the EPL. We'll get into all of that as well when we're recapping the Euros. If it wasn't for Canada playing in the Copa America, I wouldn't have watched. I hate Copa America. Football's awful to watch. There's flashes of brilliance, flashes of technical ability by the teams, but all in all, between the diving and the moaning and the complaining and the play acting and the this and the that, I can't watch it. Every 10 seconds there's a whistle. There's no flow. Can't watch it. If people are watching Copa America saying this is the reason why I don't watch soccer, I 100% agree with you because it's awful to watch. It's awful to watch. But we'll recap that since that's pretty important. That happened last night. Went to extra time, actually. So we'll recap that as well. And if we have time, we'll get into some of the transfers. I know I'm going to do a show beginning of next season, which is season 10. We should be hitting episode 200 in that season as well. I will be. I know I've said this a million times. I will be doing it weekly. Back in the everything's kind of settled a little bit now, so we're back into the groove again. I'll carve out a day to do the show for you guys. So look out for that. But we'll probably get into the transfers and everything and all the rumors and what's going on towards the beginning of the season. The season start in August. What month are we in? July. In a month, 30 days, the season starts. Well, the season in England starts anyway. And a couple of weeks after that, I think Italy starts and Spain as well. So, we're getting ramped up. I'll have a preview of all the teams and all the transfer moves that they've made before the season starts. Nothing's really happening right now, but a couple of big moves. Real Madrid, and this is old news, obviously. I mean, this happened weeks ago. Real Madrid purchasing Kylian Mbappe. So a front line of Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, and Kylian Mbappe with Valverde and Bellingham behind him. That should be interesting to see for La Liga. Michael Olise from Crystal Palace signed for Bayern Munich. So that's a big move for him. Those are pretty much all the transfers that have really happened. I mean, big names that have moved. If I've missed one, I apologize, but we'll talk about that during the transfer aspect of the preview show for season 10 of the Futbol Weekly Podcast. But guys, let's get into what we're here for. And that's my recap of Euro 2024 and Copa America 2024 held in the United States, which is just, again, I know it's that. But how do you have a South American tournament in the United States? And it was run, by all accounts, it was run horribly. So again, we'll get into all of that when we talk about Copa America. But guys, Spain, best team in the tournament. I overlooked them. I thought France, 100% with what they have, going to walk right to the final. Didn't happen. Spain wins this tournament going away. I don't think they were ever in any type of trouble in the tournament where there was a display where it was just like, oh, they look shaky. They were the class of the tournament. They deserved to win. I even have a staunch English fan telling me Spain deserves to win that tournament. There's a couple of things. We'll talk about the final. We'll talk about the final in a couple of minutes. But there's a couple of teams that you would look at going into games, and it's just like, who are these guys? What are they going to do? How'd they make it? The Georgias, the Turkeys, the Switzerlands, the Austrias. Great showing at this tournament. Great showing at this tournament. You always look at these type of international tournaments, and this is where you learn of players. I don't know any Turkish players, but now I know. Now when you say, oh, the right back of Turkey, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Barcelona, they're all interested in this right back. Where else am I going to see him except in a tournament like this? And yeah, he's pretty. If I could pronounce his name, I would, but he's pretty good. He's damn good, actually. So, after all the players go through their holidays and get back into the swing of things, you're probably going to see a whole slew of signings from this tournament, from the performances of this tournament. Great football by those nations I just mentioned, and the also rans that you think are going to do well. The Spain's obviously, I guess people think England's going to do well. I don't know, whatever. The Belgium's doing Belgium things. The Portugal's doing Roberto Martinez things. Who else was there? The Croatia surprised me how bad they were. Where you're going through all of these, and you're starting to see the changes that are coming through international organizations. You always look at France and say, oh, France always has a great team. They always do. But are those the best players France could have put out? If it is, then there needs to be a restocking of the cabinet. If we're not already at this point, I'm well beyond this point of restocking the shelves with on the Belgium squad. I'm well beyond that. But if you weren't there yet, you should be there now. Kevin De Bruyne was asked about the golden generation by a reporter, and he got upset and called the reporter stupid. This is the golden generation for Belgium. When are you ever going to have a team like this with this talent? I don't see any Belgian player lighting it on fire anywhere. Trossard scores a lot of goals. Onana's a good midfielder. He's playing defensive midfield though. This is the team where you have Trossard on one side, Lukaku in the middle, Carrasco on the other, or Trossard on the other. Sorry. De Bruyne behind him, Onana behind him, Doku on the wing again, on one of the other wings. This is the time. But when you're still picking Jan Vertonghen as your center back, the cupboard's bare. The cupboard's bare. And that other guy, the guy that plays he plays in the EPL, he used to play for Leicester with the wild hair. I forget his name. Awful. And those are your two center backs? Cupboard's bare. Roberto Martinez probably saw the writing on the wall and said, you know what, if you're going to let me go, yeah, okay, no problem. And popped up in Portugal. These are the guys that I call it the Danny. If you're not from Toronto, you probably, if you're from Toronto or anywhere and you watch NBA, you'll get this. This is the Danny Brown effect. I call it the Danny Brown effect. No matter how garbage you are, a team will give you a 1-year contract. And you'll bounce around. You'll be 10 years in the league, 9 different teams. It's the Danny Brown effect. What has Roberto Martinez done since he's left EPL? As far as international goes, he was the coach of Belgium doing Belgium things, coach of Portugal. A sign for me that you're going to be a coach that's going to say, you know what, I'm going to put my print on this team. And I know 100 million people have said it, but again, I'm doing the show for the first time in like 4 months. you got to pull Mr. Ego Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's my guy. If it's Messi or Ronaldo, I'm taking Ronaldo because he's done it in multiple leagues. He hasn't just been chilling in one league. But you have to pull Ronaldo aside and say, listen, bud, I chose you. We took a spot away from somebody else, and we chose you to play in the team. If the goods aren't being delivered, unfortunately, we're going to have to go another way during the games. We might put you on it towards the end. If you want to start, no problem. You can start. Play 20 minutes, 35 minutes, maybe the half. You got to come. If nothing's happening, you got to come off. And I don't want to hear about it. You've got guys like Diogo Jota on the bench. You've got Ramos scored a hat trick in the World Cup on the bench while we're watching Ronaldo, 38, 39 years old, whatever he is, doing nothing though. It's different if you're 38 and you're producing and you're causing problems and you're always the guy to look for. But it just seems like when you have a guy like that on your team, and you see it a lot, every sport, you have a guy like that on your team, you give them the ball and you get caught ball watching him. Because well, that guy's going to shoot the ball. He's not going to pass, he's going to shoot. So you stand up and watch. And he's left 1-on-2 or 1-on-1 with a defender who's probably 10 years, 15 years younger than him, and it doesn't work out. But as a coach, you have to look at that situation and say, hey, listen, buddy, we shouldn't have even taken you. We did for your swan song, a la Angel Di Maria, your swan song in the Copa America, and Suarez as well, your swan song. But even look at a guy like Suarez. Suarez comes off the bench, came off the bench against Canada and scored. Hero status. No one remembers that he didn't start or didn't play 45 minutes. All I remember is that he scored a tying goal and scored a goal in the penalty shots, and Uruguay finished third. That's the type of leave your ego at the door type of players that you need in this league, in your team. And if you're a manager of the team, you have to instill that, unless your whole thing is get the ball to him and get out of the way. And I really hope it's not. I really hope Roberto Martinez isn't doing that. I really hope, but again, it's hard to say because that's what it looked like. But disappointment. At moments, they played really well, Portugal, but when it was time to get it done, there was not really anything there. A couple of guys on my soccer team even brought this up. Like, you're the leader of the team. You missed a penalty shot. You're crying. Like, there's more than 45 minutes left to go, but like, buck up and get a goal. Like, you're crying like you just missed the last penalty shot and the game's over. I don't know. You see fans were booing him and giving him so I don't know. I think it's over for him at Portugal level. I would hope so. I don't know if Saudi has brought his game down, but or age even. I don't know, but I think that's the last time we'll see Ronaldo on an international playing at an international level. I hope so. He hasn't announced his retirement. Muller announced his retirement today, I believe, from Germany. Toni Kroos, we all know, announced his retirement. You start to get to that age. It's like, do I want to spend my summers training and playing in Nations League and playing in international friendlies on off weeks and going to tournaments right after a season? And the season starts again in a month. Like, you rest for 3 weeks and you're right back at it again for another 6 months. I know the body doesn't. At some point, the body's going to say, "Yeah, bro, stop." And I think that's what it's. That's what it's doing for some of the older guys, which you want to leave on top as well. Toni Kroos wins a Champions League, wins La Liga, came close to winning against Spain, I guess, in the quarters. So, I mean, kind of leaving on top to win the league and win Champions League. 6 is 6 Champions League. It's not bad at all. Another big team people were watching for. Maybe not that nationality was watching, but the rest of the world definitely, especially here in Toronto, was Italy. They're rebuilding for sure, looking for players. And I had a discussion with Joe the other day about this. And we're looking at teams like Germany. We're looking at teams like Portugal. We're looking at teams like Belgium. You're looking at the English national team. You're looking at all of these teams, and they all have players that might, that probably their parents immigrated. Yeah, I think emigrated is out. Immigrated is in. So immigrated to whatever country it is, from Africa to Germany, from Brazil to Portugal, whatever the movement was, and they build up their players and they put them on the national team. And he was telling me the only team that doesn't do this, if you look at Austria, Switzerland, they all have players that have immigrated, whose parents probably immigrated from somewhere else to play there. The only team that doesn't is Italy. And he said they need to get rid of that nonsense because everybody's surpassing you. And if you were alive and to watch Italia 90, maybe the one before that in Mexico in 86. If you were to see a black player on the German national team, you're out of your mind. That ain't happening. But now, Leroy Sané, I think Rudiger. There's in the past Jerome Boateng. There's another player from Ghana. I can't remember his name right now. The defender from this past World Cup. These are players of color. There's probably more coming through the pipeline as well. You have to look at the immigration and you have to say, listen, you're here. You're born in Germany now. Your parents are from somewhere else. You're born in Germany. You're a German citizen. You can play soccer. Come to the academy. Come play for go play for Bayer Leverkusen. Get another deal to go somewhere else, and then come back and play for the national team. That's how we grow this. If you're looking for strictly the best players in your country, you can't look at color and say no. If you're looking at the best players in Italy, they can't all be blonde hair, blue eye. Or whatever, brown hair, blue eye, whatever it is. There's a you're looking at Balotelli and the ignorance of some of the Italian fans out there. There's no such thing as a black Italian, was one of the things I heard. I think there were Inter fans that said that. Okay, your captain from last year's, or not last year, it feels like last year, but the last Euro is Brazilian. Born in Brazil. So, I don't know, but I guess he looks Italian, so he's fine. Not to say all Italians think that way. I'm not saying that at all, but people that are in the know with the Italian FA, they know that's true. If you follow the Italian FA, you know that's true. So those were my disappointments. I had Italy actually going to the semifinals. Just one of those teams that gets it together, they'll scrape in, and I was glad they scrape in. I was glad you scraped in because that's the team that's going to win. I want that scrapes in. Oh my God, they were so lucky to make it even into the knockout, and there's the ones that go to the final, but didn't quite work out for me. Austria, Switzerland, Granit Xhaka was incredible. He was a boss out there, dictating the pace of the game, dictating everything that happened in the Swiss midfield. He was fantastic. He should be making the Euro team of the tournament. He should. But we'll see we'll see who they give it to on England, Jude Bellingham or something like that. So then my surprises: Georgia, Austria, Turkey, Switzerland. My disappointments: France, Portugal, Italy, Belgium. I shouldn't even put Belgium in disappointments. I know what they're gonna do. They're not going to do anything. I know this, and I'm still act like I'm disappointed when Belgium does Belgium things. Anyway, so we'll move to the final. Spain versus England. I was on my knees praying England didn't win for so many reasons. Not just because a very good friend of mine is a staunch English fan, and you can't tell him that any one of those players aren't as good as everyone thinks they are. But if England were to win any type of international tournament, and we have to listen to this for 4 years, I know English people that are still talking about 66. We're in 2024, still listening about 66. I can't imagine how it would be if they had won the Euros either this year or last year. My buddy was losing sleep over the result. I was losing sleep over, oh my God, if they win, we're never, I have to cut my ears off. And I want to put this out there for all you people out there. Listen, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. This is everything I say is my opinion. This is what it looks like to me. You don't have to agree. I hope you don't agree. Have your own opinion. It just seems like we don't have our own opinions anymore. We listen to what people tell us and we take that as gospel, and it shouldn't be. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say a lot of things. And again, I'm just putting out a disclaimer out there. I don't hate anybody. This is my opinion, and this is what I see, and this is what it feels like to me. We're in a position now where, like I said, we take what people say for gospel. And I was trying to figure out why. You're going to sit there and you're going to tell me Harry Kane's the best striker in the world. Proof. Please. Proof. Phil Foden's the best player to come off a wing and shoot. Proof, please. Proof. Jude Bellingham makes the whole game tick and run. Proof, please. Proof. Kyle Walker, who, aka Speed Merchant, we're just gonna, when I say Speed Merchant, it's Kyle Walker, is the best right back in the world. Proof. Proof. Jordan Pickford is one of the best goalies in the, I'm not even going to finish that. I can't finish that. Awful. Awful goalie. Everyone's sitting here blaming Southgate. Southgate has probably overseen the most successful period in English football in years. And when I say that, people say, oh, yeah, but look at the players he has. Okay, let's look at the players that he has. Through unbiased lenses, please. Without having to listen to Gary Neville, Ian Wright, Jason Cundy, Jamie Carragher tell us nonsense about these players. The English media and the pundits alike have put so much pressure on this English national team based on how they feel the players perform. You're going into this tournament, Phil Foden's the best winger in the world. He's going to be one of the best wingers in the... Sky Sports, before the game, an aside, Sky Sports put out a poll, not a poll, like a graphic of Spain, England, best 11 for this game. 8 Englishmen on it. 3 Spanish players. 3. Rodri, Carvajal, Lamine Yamal. Fabian Ruiz? No? Cucurella? No. Actually, you know what? Carvajal wasn't on the list. Because the back four was Walker, Stones, Gay, and maybe he was. Maybe Carvajal was one of the 3. And then in the midfield, there was Rodri and Bellingham. Okay. Fabian Ruiz was fantastic. Okay, Danny Olmo was better than Bellingham the whole tournament too, but okay, whatever. It's Bellingham. Up top, Yamal, Kane, Foden. That's your combined 11 from this tournament? Phil Foden played a good 45 minutes. He played well for 45 minutes this whole tournament. 45 minutes. The best player in the world at coming off the wing and shooting, but he played well for 45 minutes. and we're calling him the best winger to come off the wing and shoot. Laporte, better than Stones. Unai Simon, better than... and Pickford was in the net, by the way. Unai Simon, better than Pickford. David Raya, better than Pickford. No room, no space for Nico Williams up there. I guess not. Morata and Kane probably played the same, at the same level, that tournament. If you think Morata was awful, Harry Kane was awful, and but he golden boot. Oh, give me a break. Phantom PKs, crying and rolling around for PKs. And listen, about that PK in the Dutch game against Denzel Dumfries, if that is the standard now of what we're going to call PKs, then I don't know how you defend in this league anywhere anymore. I don't know how you're going to defend. I don't. Players are already defending with their arms behind their back at a disadvantage because anything hits their arm, it's a PK. And now if you take a shot that goes 20 feet over the net, but the follow through hits me, it's a PK. I don't know how you're going to defend. I don't know how you defend. Someone tell me how you defend in this climate of football now. But one thing I will tell you, if it was Virgil van Dijk, it wouldn't have been a PK. If you know, you know. So maybe maybe the English media and the pundits and this player is this and this player is that. They're putting too much pressure on it. So now we're listening to all of this and we don't watch the games. I know guys on my soccer team right now that I'm going to be seeing in about an hour and a half right now that don't watch English soccer, but will tell you, oh, this player is amazing. This player is that. But you don't watch. How do you know? Oh, but that's what they say. They say that. That's what they say. You're listening to English pundits big up English players. Stones should be on the bench. If Stones is your best defender and you're taking guys like Joe Gomez on the team, I don't know, man. Southgate got the selection wrong, for sure. How Luke Shaw doesn't play for 5 months and then you stick him into the Euro Cup finals, I don't know. You didn't really do anything wrong, but I don't know. How do you do that when you have Trent Alexander on the bench? I don't get it. You're looking for a left back. You have Trent. If you're not going to use him or you don't trust him, why'd you pick him? Why would you take Luke Shaw, who's hasn't played, and then leave a creative player that you needed, like Madison or even the other guy, Grealish, at home? Rashford, no call. Sancho, no call. But I'm going to take a guy who hasn't played in 5 months. Kobe Manuel was a pretty good pick. I don't know if he should have played that as many minutes as he did, but okay, he played well when he was in there. It's fine. People say Declan Rice didn't play that well. I mean, whatever. I don't know what's a defensive midfielder going to do. He's not a Rodri. I get it. That's fine. But who else there is going to unlock a defense? You're hoping that Jude Bellingham's going to play that killer ball? I don't know. Is that his game? I can see that late run into the box and him finishing. Sure, that's what I saw at Real Madrid when I watched the games there. Yeah, sure, that's that. But I don't know if he's going to be able to be the guy that picks up the ball and can play a through ball from 30 yards onto someone's foot, cutting in. I don't know. Ollie Watkins doesn't get any minutes. He comes in, bing bang, scores. Cole Palmer doesn't start. If you want to blame Southgate for some of those decisions, and that's the reason why you want him out, okay, I understand. But at the same time, he's overseen the best period of English football in I don't know how long. Since, like I said, 66. Many people and pundits want to blame him for the game plan. You want to go toe to toe with Spain, man for man? You're not going to win that. And the reason why you think you're going to win that is because everyone has pumped the tires of these players, telling you that they're this and they're that and they're great and da 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 da. Not that good. They're not. I've said it a million times on this show. You have the best league in the world. None of the best players are English. None of the best coaches are English. All the English coaches are in the league below. You go abroad. Not a lot of the players play abroad. Harry Kane just left to go. Harry Kane, that's a funny story, actually. Bayern Munich wins everything. They've won everything every year. The first year Harry Kane goes there, they finish third. Oh, boy. Can't write that. Is Harry Kane the best player on Bayern Munich? Don't think so. Is Jude Bellingham the best player on Real Madrid? I don't think so. So we're giving all these players, they're the best at this or the best at that, and they're not even the best players in their league. They're not even the best players on their team. So why are we giving them this false, putting them on this pedestal of false hope? Just going through my head right now, not even the best players on their team, in the league. All the players that I'm thinking about right now. I don't know. These guys get the same amount of hype as guys like Vinny Jr. and Mbappe. They're spoken about in the same circles as those guys. Jude Bellingham is spoken in the same circles as Mbappe and Vinny Jr. Miles away from being able to turn a game on its head. Miles away. But anyways, some of the final awards, I didn't stick around for the whole thing. I thought the Copa America game was at 6, but it turned out to be at 8. So I switched right away when the game was over. So I saw Lamine Yamal win Young Player of the Tournament, rightly so. I saw Rodri win Player of the Tournament, rightly so. I'm a guy that can tell you when I'm wrong and apologize or track back and say, you know what, I might have been wrong, and I'll tell you I was wrong. I've made fun of Rodri on this show. Best defensive midfielder in the world. Pfft, give me a break. Nah, Rodri's fantastic. He's fantastic. I don't want to say it because I hate Man City, but Rodri's fantastic. He's in the right spot. He's always in the right spot, which is reading the game. Never gives the ball away. He's there to make a tackle. He finds the right pass. As a defensive midfielder, he's fantastic. I apologize to everybody who's listened to me, who's heard me say that he sucks. I wouldn't take him on my team. I would take him on my team in a heartbeat. Rodri's fantastic. It's the last time you'll hear me say it. So clip it, do whatever you need to do. I know Harry Kane, I think, shared in the Golden Boot. I think there were 6 players with the Golden Boot award and had to share it, I believe. I believe Harry Kane was one of them, but all in all, it was a exciting final when Spain got the ball. First 20 minutes, I don't think England came up past half. And I don't know if that's the game plan or that wasn't the game plan, obviously, but it's hard to replicate what a team is going to do from video and watching them live to actually playing them. I know you're going to do that, but you're pretty good. You're a pretty talented and skillful player that it works, even though I know it's coming and you still beat me. So we're all happy that England lost again. I was worried that if they did lose or if they did win, either way, that the terrorist organization that is football soccer fans was going to tear down Berlin, burn it down. And you can say that's harsh and it's a tongue-in-cheek, a joke, but I mean, the English fan base. I mean, you're in Germany, you're laughing at their loss. You beat the Dutch. They're on a train going back to wherever they got to go, back to home, and you're taunting them. I don't know. English football fans are just so easy to hate or not like. Again, I don't hate anybody, but easy to not like. Easy to cheer against. Very easy. Very easy. I only wanted this show to be 30 minutes. We're already at 36. We'll finish off with Copa America. I will make this quick because if Canada wasn't playing in Copa America, I wouldn't watch this. I hate Copa America. It's awful soccer to watch. The fields are usually garbage. It just seems like when you're watching this on TV that half the stadium lights are off. I don't know why. And the grass is high. And there's a aspect of corruption going on in calls and what happens. When every time the referee blows a whistle, 10 players crowd around him. Games take 3 hours to play. I never would have watched a game in Copa America if Canada wasn't involved. And I did a show actually before Copa America started. I did do a show. And for some reason, the mic didn't pick up any audio. I can't remember if the mic was on or the volume levels were up. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I did a show, an hour-long show, previewing Copa and Euro, but there was no sound. And I just got frustrated and I said, listen, I had an hour to do it. It didn't work out. Next time I get an hour, I'll do it. And I never got another hour. So again, second apology of the show. If you couldn't have listened to it, but I did rip Jesse Marsh. Why did we hire this guy? Everywhere he's gone, he's failed. Everywhere he coached well at one place. Everywhere he's been, he's only been there for 12 months. Everywhere now he's in charge of the. He had those guys playing. When they were playing against Euro, there's a couple of mental lapses. I don't know if it's the coaching that was the reason or the players or whatever it is, but certain situations, man, you're up a goal, like that goal that Rondon scored from just inside center. You're up a goal, and I can't remember how much time was left, but you're up a goal. They have a corner kick. I've always been taught in that situation, you want to outnumber the striker. So if there's one striker up, there's two guys, at least minimum two guys back, one in front, one behind, just in case some nonsense happens. And some nonsense did happen, and Rondon scored from just inside center. Chipped the goalie, who was well out of the 18-yard box. I don't know what he was doing. But if you're going to play like that, that's where the goalie was probably where the second defender should have been. And the first one should be patrolling anything that comes out in front. He should be able to sweep that up. But why you're leaving it one-on-one at the back? You're asking for trouble. And trouble came, and boom, goal. But he did have these guys playing well. I wasn't watching the TSN broadcast of the game. I was actually watching, I believe, I was watching Premier Sports. I was watching the Premier Sports broadcast. There was a British guy doing the, I think it was Ian Dark actually that was doing it, and he had nothing but good things to say about the performance of Canada, and they did play well. And it's just funny who was on the field when Canada was playing well. I'm not saying drop anybody. I'm not saying that at all. But you're playing the starting lineup of Uruguay, supposedly one of the powerhouses in CONMEBOL, with what's deemed to be players that, we're just going to throw them in there to get a little bit of experience. And they outplayed the Canada starters 100%, that team. Now, I don't know I do, but I don't know where striking prowess is going to come from for this next World Cup. It's in 2 years. Maybe there's a striker out there, but we need to score goals. Pounce on a mistake against Uruguay, fine. That's okay. But we need to find a way to create offense and create goals. That's it. That's the only thing I think this is missing. Crépeau was fantastic in the net. The defense was solid. A couple of lapses, even against in the Argentina game. There's a lapse in the defense. Thinking when you're playing at this level, you can't make mistakes like that. It happened. This goal was scored. What are you going to do? It's a learning experience. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. All in all, the defense played well. The midfield kept the ball moving. Ticking Kone, fantastic player. Ishmael Kone, fantastic player. Moved from Watford in the championship. That now playing for Marseille, for De Zerbi down in France. Up in France. Over in France. Great move for him. He deserves it. He's fantastic out there. Cool as ice. Not just the PK that he took, or the first PK he took. The second one was awful. But even on the field, you can just see he's just calm, cool, doesn't panic, knows where the ball's going before he gets it. Guys, young players out there, please. You look at all these players, Iniesta, Xavi, and you look at them and you want to dribble like them and da-da-da-da-da, or see the videos and you want to dribble like Messi and you want to dribble and you put 1,000 cones on the ground and you go in between the cones. Know where the ball is going before it gets to you. Put yourself in a position for you to be able to play that ball before it gets to you and know exactly where it's going before it gets to you. If you're getting the ball and having to think, okay, now where do I do with it? You're done at high levels. You might get away with it in the lower levels, but you can master that and do that. All these drills, kicking the ball, looking over your shoulder. What if the guy comes in for, like, you're getting into the habit of doing this, but what are you looking for? What if the guy's 5 feet behind you? You're still going to play it back? You're going to turn? What are you going to do? I don't know, man. I see all these drills on Instagram and it's just like, it looks good. They put a video of Iniesta or Xavi doing it. And, I don't know. Xavi's 10 steps ahead of everybody, though. It's here. He's 10 steps ahead of everybody. So when he's doing that, that's one step. Anyways, whatever. I'm not here to diss anybody. Do your thing. If that works, it works. What do I know? I'm not a coach, not a trainer. Maybe it works. I don't know. But anyways, game was supposed to start at 8, delayed till 8:30. Okay, so I went and did the dishes, came back. The game's not going to start till 8:45. What the hell's going on? You've got fans. What I saw was Colombian fans. I know there's probably going to be Argentinian fans in there, but the videos I saw were Colombian fans trying to get into the stadium, a la English fans from the last Euro, without tickets, rushing the door, trying to get in. It's just amazing to me. You get into this. If you get into the stadium, okay, and you don't get caught, where are you going to watch the game from? You can't stand in the aisle with the stairs. You can't stand in those aisles. You don't have a seat. So what are you going to do? The English fans that stormed Wembley when Italy was playing England just sat in other people's seats. This is yours. No, it's mine now. As I do a line of coke off my friend's back, or I take a bump of coke off my friend's what do you call it? Coke vial? I don't even know what it's called. On camera, by the way, doing cocaine on camera in the stands. English fans. Classy bunch, bro. Classy bunch. But if this is allowed to happen in the stadium, and this is just Copa America final, what are you going to do when World Cup rolls around? What if England actually makes it to the World Cup final? What are you going to do when those knuckleheads start rushing the doors? If you can't handle this, you have to postpone the game for 45 minutes. Or was it 9:15 the game started? I think it was 9:15 the game started. Looking at the clock like, oh my God, I got to go to work tomorrow. This game doesn't start till 9:15. And a 25-minute halftime show because Shakira's there. I'm not going to complain about that. That was okay. But me personally, Canada and the United States are not ready for the World Cup. Venue-wise, I don't think Canada is venue-wise. And I don't feel that they understand the magnitude of what's really going to happen when you have World Cup games. I don't. That's just me personally. The fields were awful. The fields were shorter because they're not built for football fields. They're built for soccer fields. They're built for American football fields. So the fields were shorter. There was one picture you saw where there was no room for the guy to even take a corner kick. All I know is that if the United States isn't ready to host a World Cup, and they've hosted one before, how much more Canada? BMO has to be expanded. Edmonton has to that field has to be grass. I believe Saputo Stadium in Montreal has to be expanded as well. Who's paying for it? Well, I know who's paying for it. Well, it's not going to be the LCBO. It's not going to be the money from the LCBO because they're on strike. So that's another topic for another show. But yeah, I just don't think. I don't know. From what I'm seeing right now, I don't think they're prepared for this at all. I don't think they're prepared for it at all. But I could be surprised. Last thing I'm going to say about the Canadian men's national team. Oh, I guess I did apologize to Jesse Marsh. I hope I did. Before I got on another tangent, but I said he was going to be a trash coach, and he turned out to have these guys actually playing the best I've seen them in a while. So kudos to Jesse Marsh. Hopefully, he's able to scour Canada and find a striker that can score. I would have just put two up top with Larin and David up top, because if you're putting David in the number 10, trying to have him play the last ball to a striker, it didn't work once this tournament. Not once did it work. Doesn't have the... Don't get me wrong, David's a great player. Doesn't have the 10 mentality. A 10 is Messi. A 10 is James Rodriguez. Those are 10s. It's not Jonathan David. Put Jonathan David, play in a 2 up top. Have him up play striker. Put in Eustachio in there. Put Davies there. Put Jonathan Osorio there. Would have been much better. But again, hopefully he's just tinkering and to see what people can do in game situations. And now he knows that Jonathan David can't play in the 10, so he doesn't play him there anymore. But last thing I'm going to say about the Canadian men's national team is I've said this many times at soccer. If I were to ask you who on this team plays for Bayern Munich, I don't think you would ever say Alphonso Davies. And I brought that up to Joe as well when I was talking to him the other day, and he was just like, he's playing in the wrong position. He's playing the position he plays at Bayern Munich. And he's supposed to be the best left back in the world playing there, or best left back in Germany, at least, playing there. Yeah, and when we play, he's going to be up higher in the field so he can dictate the game. And I'm like, you know what? You're probably right. He should be playing where Larrea was playing. Larrea played on the across the midfield on the wing, getting into the play, getting into the box. I think he's better suited there. I don't know if it was Alphonso Davies is quicker than Cornelius or Bombito, so he can recover if something happens, and we were playing him back there for that. But he's not a left back. I don't think he's a left back. I think he plays left back at Bayern Munich. I don't really watch Bayern Munich play, so I don't know what the system is. But I think he plays there. But he gets more involved in the play. So, I mean, I don't think he played relatively well. I think, if you're expecting one of the players. You're looking at on the field and say that guy plays for Bayern Munich. Okay, you know what I mean. But again, hopefully this is just a dress rehearsal, seeing what players can do. Maybe he was told don't join the rush. Maybe that's what he was told, and that's what he did. I don't know. If that's the case, you're not using him effectively, and that has to change. But anyways, kudos to Argentina. They won their 16th Copa America in Messi's home stadium. Messi got hurt. If you saw his ankle, it was actually pretty swollen. Took a nice knock on the end line. I remember seeing it. James Rodriguez, player of the tournament, he was fantastic. I think Lautaro Martinez won golden boot, scored all his goals off the bench. I don't know, maybe he should have started some of the games, but who knows? So congratulations to Spain for winning the Euro. Congratulations for Argentina winning Copa America. I probably missed a ton of things I want to talk about, but we're getting close to an hour of me yammering on, so we'll end it there. Hopefully I can remember this, but guys, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do so. It's free on all podcast platforms, whether it be Spotify, Player FM, TuneIn, We're on Amazon Music. You can tell Alexa, play the Futbol Weekly Podcast, and bam, she'll bring it up for you. We're at iHeartRadio. We're on a whole bunch of other podcasting platforms. Anything you use to listen to podcasts, we're on it. Believe me. YouTube. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram. You know, I respond to all comments on Instagram. When the season starts, we're looking to actually have actually a guy got in touch with me today. He wanted to talk to me about trials. He's an Italian that scouts Canadian talent to bring to Italy, and he wanted to give parents and coaches a heads up on what is expected for the kids when they're on trial in an Italy environment. So we'll try to get that going. I messaged him back, said, yeah, that's something that I'd be interested in doing. We'll get some times and dates, but obviously it's going to be when the show starts. The show doesn't start for another 3-4 weeks, I believe, when the season gets going. We do the preview show, and then we do it weekly, recapping the week that was in the world of football. So guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you disagree with me, hit me up on Instagram. Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.